Hey, hello, sacred friend. I am Lori Andrus, and welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about ways to work with crystals and stones. Specifically, the crystal and stone allies that showed up for 2023. Since I did the forecast a couple weeks ago, I've received several messages inquiring about what to do with those crystals and stones. Inquiries about how we can work with them more intimately and how we can connect with them. What does that look like? What does it feel like? What are some of the benefits of working with them? Really good questions. And if you've noticed some of them within yourself, know that you're not alone. This is a pretty typical response, especially when it comes to talking about working with crystals and stones. I get a good laugh at that because I feel like since I started working with them more consciously in maybe about 2004, 2005, that is often one of the first questions. Usually it comes with a fun little head tilt and or a raised eyebrow, and then there's questions like, so what do you do with them? Do you carry them in your pocket? Do you put them on a shelf? Do you talk to them? And usually I respond with, all of those are great. And I give a little giggle as well because that's just the beginning, right? If you've been working with crystals and stones for some time, you know that there are so many benefits to working with crystals and stones, and there are so many ideas around how to work with them. Some people, find themselves in one camp or another regarding, specifics around what that looks like. And if you've been kind of curious about where am I at, what are my thoughts on this, I'm going to share a bit of that with you today. Years ago, I think I looked at them as more of a healing tool, like one of the many tools in my shamanic, practice toolbox. But more and more, I have come to know crystals and stones as allies, and in many ways, friends. Again, sounds weird, but I'm fine with that. You get to find your language around it. You get to find the ways that you connect with them. And you get to see what resonates for you and what doesn't. So as we move through this episode, I'm going to talk about what has made sense for me over the years that I have been working with them and the ways that they've guided me into more and more intimate connection and really, truly supported me throughout my own healing journey and healing process, my journey of self-discovery and connection with self. And I really think this year, 2023, is all about expanding through a path of self-discovery. I think we're being guided by citrine as our crystal of the year. We're really being invited to tune into our own inner light and let our inner light lead. I think for many years, our culture, especially here in the Western world, has moved into, it has been in a place of looking outside of ourselves for nourishment, fulfillment, connection, inspiration, purpose, meaning. But I think over the past couple years, as we have moved through the experiences that were unearthed in COVID, many of us have had an awareness that, actually it's really time for me to go within. It's really time for me to source inspiration from within. It's time for me to heal within. It is time for me to draw back the ways that I've looked outside of myself for fulfillment and to find that within. And I think this year is going to be very supportive of that energy. To me, that's exciting. That's so exciting. And I find it really an amazing time to connect with the crystals and stones, because the crystals and stones have, oh gosh, so long been sharing that message with me. Yeah, that invitation to really come within, to get grounded, to get rooted, to connect with the earth, to find the rhythm and cycle of the earth, to move with it, to know that within myself, to be able to let go of the attachments, the connections, the confusion that was created by other people, other things, other events, the outer world, essentially, and really be able to listen to my own intuition, and to begin to let it ripen and develop and understand it. And I think this is really what the collection of crystals and stones that have come forward for 2023 are all about, especially with what we're kicking off in this first season of winter. Black tourmaline in January, iolite in February, and sodalite in March. Oh my goodness. All three of them are really calling us into a place of getting to know what's going on within ourselves and really listening to the dreams within our hearts, honoring our soul's vision and desires, and along the way, releasing anything that no longer serves us. So let's start with this word release. I often look at crystals and stones as allies for release and allies for creation. Every stone can serve both purposes. Every crystal can serve both purposes. And really the only one who knows what purpose they're going to serve is the person who's working with it. So whatever crystal or stone you have in your hand at any one given time, or whatever you have adorning your neck, only you know what that intention is with it. What is it supporting you with? And very often, release and creation, they're two sides to the same coin. You need one in order to have the other. They dance back and forth. They work synergistically. But because sometimes it feels better to just have that delineation in our minds and in our thoughts and in our awarenesses, I will often just have a stone designated as a stone that's helping me out with letting things go, and a stone that is really supporting me in creating what's next. All right, so let's talk about some of the benefits of working with crystals and stones. I think I've kind of laid a couple out along the way, sharing, my own personal experience, but very much they are incredible for illuminating what we cannot see, what's kind of been veiled in our awareness or our consciousness. They bring things to light. They help us to make energetic shifts. There are many levels to creating change, healing, and transformation in our lives. A big one is on an energetic level. There's the energetic, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual. We could give it many, many more layers here if we want to, but ultimately those are kind of some primary ones. And if we let ourselves really sink into having an awareness that there's an energetic level that we can't always see, can't always feel or sense with our intuition, our crystals and stones can, and they begin to make little shifts with that in ways that are supportive for us. They help us to activate intentions, to clarify intentions, to set intentions, set goals, let ourselves dream. They open up space for new possibilities, and they invite us to expand our ideas of what's possible for ourselves and for others and for the world. They activate healing, really deep levels. They help us to connect with the earth, to be more present in our day-to-day lives. They support us in filtering distractions, chaos, overwhelm, getting really connected within ourselves. Okay, now that we have talked about the benefits of working with the crystals and stones, let's talk a bit about how to work with them. I think there are many, many different ways that we can work with them, and there's so many threads that we can, go kind of sink into around this, but we're going to focus on three particular areas. The first one is that there's something we can carry with us on a regular basis, whether we slip them into a pocket, wear them as an adornment, or pop them into like a pouch and carry them in our purse and bring them along with us throughout our day-to-day lives. Another way is to create an altar or a crystal grid of sorts, something that focuses in the energy of an intention and really enhances part of our experience. And then the third is to what I think of as working with the earth with them. Working with the earth to maybe create little altars, maybe, release and let go what we want to let go of. I talked earlier about crystals and stones being really great allies for creation and for release. And these processes to me they all like kind of dance together. So you can tell I'm a jewelry girl. I have been for forever. Well, as long as I can remember, for a very long time. But wearing crystal adornments, carrying crystals in our pockets, and having some level of consciousness around the way that crystal or stone is supporting you is what really creates and supports you in your day-to-day life. Now, I always wear a necklace. My husband actually loves wearing a crystal necklace of some sort or another. And he also loves to slip stones into his pocket. It's really fun to see him come home at the end of the day and empty out his pockets and out comes a couple crystals or stones, and I'll look at him and I'll go, well, what's going on at school? And then he'll share a little story with me about what's been unfolding. And usually what I know of the stone and what he has brought it to work for is always in alignment. It just kind of makes me giggle. So really trusting our intuition is a key part of working with their crystals and stones. Okay, now that we have talked about the benefits of working with crystals and stones, and we've talked about a couple ways that you can work with your crystals or stones, let's break this down a little bit more. We're at the beginning of the year, so I'm going to use the idea of our word of the year, our intention for the year, our goals for the year. Each of us has a different energy around that, a different language we like to connect with, but it's fresh in our minds. So let's begin there. And I'm going to use intention as we move through this. So you can just kind of insert your own language or what feels aligned for you as we move through. Okay, so we set an intention. When we set an intention, when we have a focus for our energy, a focus for how we're wanting to experience life differently, maybe what we want to create, maybe some goals that we have. There's an energy or a momentum that begins to call us forward. And what happens is that we have an opportunity to connect with our crystals and stones and invite them to be an ally in that journey. Yeah. And so they will work with us on that intention. Now, I love to activate my crystals or stones with the intention, and basically what that involves is simply bringing it into my hands, letting myself feel the energy, the essence of my intention, and using my breath to exhale that intention into the stone. And I do that 3 times, at least 3 times. Sometimes there's some more things that come up around it. And then I usually just let myself wear the piece. I don't think about it much more than that. It becomes a part of just my daily ritual, my daily movement towards whatever my intentions or goals are. Now, the same can be true with something that we're using as an altar when we're creating an altar or a grid. We want to, again, focus our energy towards our intention. And so having one central stone that comes together and really holds that energy for us, you can use that one central stone and then just let the altar be. Let it be present. Sometimes it's nice, just like putting a necklace on or off every day is a ritual. Playing with our altar can very much be a ritual as well. Moving things around, picking pieces up, asking them questions, getting curious. You can work that into your day-to-day life. And the same is true for anything you put in your pocket. If you put a crystal or stone in your pocket or carry a little bundle in your purse, that's a really beautiful way to begin just letting yourself connect on that regular daily basis. There's an energy that begins to work together. Our co-creative energies begin to blend, and the crystal or stone that we've invited to be our ally in creating our intention, well, it begins to notice where are we stumbling over the same things again and again and again. And it might support us in just helping us to see it a little bit more clearly. It may make it a little obvious. It may reveal something that we haven't seen. It may also really begin to call in new opportunities. It may invite us into different ceremonies or rituals, or align us with people who can support us in ways that we've been asking for help along the way. How cool is that? Part of it is really letting ourselves tune in intuitively, to pay attention with all of our senses, to listen with every sense as we move through our experience of life. When we're working with a particular crystal or stone and we have a specific intention set, sometimes we intuitively know when that crystal or stone has taken us as far as it's going to take us towards that particular goal. A new crystal or stone may show up, another ally may present itself, or we may just feel like, oh, I think this is exactly what it needed to do. Now, at those times, we might decide that we want to clear the crystals or stones and use them again later, or we may want to simply return them to the earth. But that's a conversation for another day. Today, we're going to stay on what do we do next? Well, that's where I think working with the forecast, we begin to, if you have an altar, begin to bring in a new stone at the end, at the close of the month or the beginning of the next month. You bring in the next stone. Sometimes you might find that you want to have a little overlap. You want to keep working with one on your altar. Your altar might say, hey, we've got something good going. Keep me here, and you bring in this next energy and let's work together. You might notice little things popping up in your thoughts or ideas. I'm always fascinated by the things my clients and clients share to me, or my jewelry customers share about their experiences with pieces of jewelry, or what they're doing or working with on their altar, or things that are shifting and changing, and the ways that they're working with crystals and stones. Let yourself be delighted and surprised. You might every once in a while have your head kind of tilt a little bit and go, well, I didn't expect that. And know that that is just part of the dance of working with these beautiful, beautiful sacred adornments from deep within the earth. Because that's really what they are. They're gifts from the earth that we get to connect with and get to work with and discover new things about life. So have fun and enjoy them. And if you want to work deeper with the crystals and stones through the Sanctuary Circle, each month we connect in with the Crystal Ally of the Month. There's a robust library of different different crystals and stones, along with sacred practices and so many other things. We gather for a community call once a month. We gather for a live ceremony once a month. And these are really great opportunities to weave community, to sink deeper into your sacred practices and really develop your relationship with yourself, with your spirituality, and with the crystals and stones. So if you want to check that out, you can head on over to my website, laurieandress.com/sanctuary. And if you've been curious about learning more about ceremony, I'm going to be opening up my Foundations of Ceremony class again. We'll kick it off at the beginning of February. And I'd love for you to join me. It's a 5-week class. Yeah, it's a wonderful deep dive into the basics of ceremony. How do you create a really amazing ceremonial practice? All right, I wish you a beautiful week, and as always, shine brightly. Bye for now.